So last time I made a first level troubadour with a heavy metal theme and I named him Filth, and this time I'm going to level him up to level 2 and do the same thing I did last time, which is make riffs for the abilities and then put all of those into a song at the end. So let's see what we get when we level up. We get 6 more stamina, and then for our abilities, let's see, second level features, appeal to the Muses. So this ability lets us make our beginning of round drama roll more high risk, high reward. Appeal to the Muses is a pretty thematic name, but I want to make it a little more on theme and call it Appeal to the Metal Gods, or Gods of Metal. Appeal to the Gods of Metal? Sure. Okay, let's make a riff for this. This time I am playing my Greco Mirage, and it's tuned down to drop C. All right, I think that sounds pretty cool for our Appeal to the Metal Gods ability. What do we get next? We get an Invocation. Looks like we have 3 options. Allow me to introduce tonight's players, formal introductions, and my reputation precedes me. So it seems like the first ability is more combat oriented. It lets people move at the start of combat and boost their defenses for the first round, while the other 2 abilities are more negotiation and roleplay abilities. I think I want to focus more on combat with this character, and also just the name, allow me to introduce tonight's players, is a little closer to on theme. So I'll go with the first ability and somewhat change the ability name. I want to call it Band Introductions. You know, that part of every concert where the lead singer tells you where everyone in the band is from. Okay, so let's make a riff for Band Introductions. Cool, I like that. What's next? After our Invocation, we get a perk. Interpersonal, lore, or supernatural perk. What are the interpersonal ones? Charming Liar. Maybe we're good at lie. Dazzler is about performing. Engrossing Monologue. Harmonizer. Lie Detector. Open Book. Pardon my friend. So it's a lot of lying versus honesty type abilities and some perform stuff, which could be on brand for us. What are our lore perks? Memorizing stuff, knowing who knows things, linguist, polymath. It's a bunch of lore stuff, and I don't think our character is really someone who knows a lot of stuff about random lore. So let's check out supernatural perks. Arcane Trick looks like fancy prestidigitation. Creature Sense. Familiar. Ooh, we can get a familiar. That could be fun. Invisible Force. Oh, it's like Mage Hand. That's cool. Psychic Whisper. Oh, one-way telepathy. Things Speaker. Can we speak to things? Emotional Resonance. Okay, yeah, we can kind of speak to things. I'm drawn to familiar. What's a good familiar for our heavy metal troubadour? Like a bat or a rat or a cat? I like rats a lot. Oh, there's a guitar pedal called the Proco Rat. That would be so cute if we had a little rat named Proco. Okay, we have a familiar and it's a rat and his name is Proco. Okay, so what comes after our perk? Second level class act ability. We are a virtuoso. So we got two options here. Encore, which lets us repeat an ability we saw this round. That's interesting, very flexible. And then Tough Crowd, areas haunted by a swirling horde of phantoms until the end of a counter. It lets your allies move through it without spending movement. Does damage at the end of each of your turns. We gotta take this, right? A swirling horde of phantoms? What could be more metal? Tough Crowd. I get why it's called Tough Crowd, but I want to change the name. And I think the only thing we can change it to is Tornado of Souls, the Megadeth song. Is this our last ability already? You know what? We could make a riff for our rat, little Proco. Let's go back and do that. I want to do a riff for our familiar. Okay, now our rat has a theme song. That's cool. Okay, and we already picked our last ability, Tough Crowd or Tornado of Souls. So let's go ahead and do a riff for that. Okay, I like that, but I'm going to have to practice it a lot in between now and when I make the song. I think that's it. I think that's it for level 2, Filth, our troubadour. I'm going to make a song now.